We are coming back with our, what we call the protein break. It is this part in the show. We keep creating these new segments for you guys. We want to keep talking nutrition. We want to talk food. We talk fitness. We talk business. We talk all the great topics to help you guys get moving during the day. And we thought we'd introduce this segment to give you something to think about when it comes to food. And today, John and Marty, I wanted to talk about macros and their role in weight loss. Now, John, Marty, we talk about calories in the world often, and we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about calories today. I want to focus on macros. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that individuals who track their macronutrient intake are 2.5 times more likely to maintain weight loss long-term compared to those who don't. Now, before we get into why and what, Johnny, let's pause for a moment and introduce Business Athlete Nation to what are macronutrients and why they matter. I'm going to start with you, Johnny.
A macronutrient is basically when you say your macros, what you're saying is your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fats. That's it. It's just all it's doing is breaking the different types of foods or breaking calories into 3 subsections. So that way, when you're tracking your macros, you're tracking how much protein you're eating, how much carbohydrate you're eating, and how much fat you're eating. Obviously, tracking calories is not nearly as good as tracking macros. But even when you're tracking macros, you have to be careful because, like, for example, not all proteins are created equal. So let's say you got 25 grams of a whey protein, which is a processed kind of low quality protein. That 25 grams does not react in your body the same as, say, 25 grams of a good organic ground beef. So remember, tracking your macros is great, but you also have to understand the quality of the macro if you really want to get it right.
Yes. Johnny, why is it so confusing for folks?
Here's the thing. It's just like any other part of life. You can't just buy a gym membership and expect that you understand all this. Just because you can walk into a GNC doesn't mean that you understand nutrition. So there's a level of investigation, a level of self-education. However you want to do it, you got to acquire the information you need so you can actually make the progress you want. Knowledge is power.
Yes, Marty, coming to you for a quick second here, brother. But first of all, Mike McQuillan joins and says, what a jip. I thought you'd be talking about sex this morning. For the record, I don't own a cell phone. If I did, I wouldn't bring it onto the gym floor. Actually, Mike, we have been talking sex morning.
Just late to the party, brother.
And in about 8 minutes, we're going to continue the conversation about sex because we are going to lean back into things that men wish women would do in the bedroom. So we're going to have a conversation about what humans wish that we would all do when we get into the bedroom. So Quill, Mike, I'm sorry, man. I'm just forever going to introduce the N into your name. So as long as I know you, brother, and we talked earlier on in the show about ways to introduce ourselves. Well, to you, to me, you just have N in your name. So I'm sorry, brother. So we're talking about macronutrients. Marty, when people come to you, Marty, you got somebody will knock on your door like, Marty, I need to lose weight. I'm feeling fat. I don't like this gut on my ass. How aware are people of their macronutrient intake?
Oh, am I missing something? Is there such a thing as a gut on your ass?
I said it too, John.
If your ass has got a gut, man, you need some help.
Talk so much in this show, man. Sometimes I'm like,
I love that. We got to have some fun with this one, man.
So many jokes, man. I'm going to let it go today, though.
The one who does the post-production after, and I sit upstairs in the studio going, fuck, did I just say that today?
That would be one saggy ass to have a gut, man. Oh, that's nasty.
Marty, are people aware of their macronutrient intake, or do they just focus on calories? And at what point in society can we stop talking about calories? That seems like a 1980s topic. Like, why can't we get folks focused on whole nutrient-dense foods and macros instead of calories?
I think times are changing, but there's an obsession with calories. And not only that, people want to lose weight as quickly as possible, right? So when you talk macronutrients and adding them to and changing them and tracking them, you're talking about a gradual process of building muscle, burning fat. It takes months. It takes years sometimes. And people, it doesn't sound sexy. People aren't into that. So calories is the way to go. And it sounds sexy. You see a snack that you like, oh yeah, it's low calorie. Let me get that. Same with the drink, whether that's coffee, whether it's a low sugar drink, a Diet Coke. It sounds sexy. Like I said, times are changing, but I think that's just that quick result and you making an easy change and not really having to put work in and be consistent and disciplined.
Yeah, I think so, Johnny. I think I'm going to relate to both you and Chris here for a second. So I'm not the fitness guy on our panel, right? I'm the business dude who tries to be the athlete. So I'm probably speaking more to our audience from their perspective. So what I want to say to you guys is this. I've struggled with this my whole life, figuring this all out. And what I have found has worked for me because I'm an analytical type human is that I like macros. numbers. I like knowing what's going on in my body. I like to know the numbers. John, I like your train of thinking, which is eat this, and I can appreciate that. Where I struggle with is that I like to ask the question about why and how much. So what I have enjoyed learning in my life is knowing what my numbers are and then hitting my numbers, but with the right quality food. And what I mean, Johnny, is I know that often the big knock on counting macronutrients is, yeah, but you could hit your macros by eating crap. But that's for those that are uneducated. I would prefer to hit my macros by eating whole nutrient foods. So yes, I can hit my protein and my fats and my carbs by eating just this thing throughout the day and then starving myself. But that's not going to help me hit my goals. So if I'm saying to myself, I need to hit 200 grams of protein per day, I can choose the lazy route by eating Big Macs and Reese's peanut butter and still get those macros. Or I can go the clean longevity route by eating for purpose and eating for a long life, but still hitting my macros. So Johnny, again, I guess what I'm saying is I know your teaching is all about eat this, and I'm going to help you not having to make decisions. But for those like myself who are like, I want to learn from you, John, but I still want to track my numbers. That's where I think you and I come together with a new type of solution where you're saying, Keith, eat this, but I'm going, okay, but how much should I eat? Because I'm the kind of guy who wants to know still how much I should eat.
100%. And here's the thing. My clients, they're successful, they're busy, they don't have the time to count. And so my whole system is based upon teaching someone how to enrich their life with energy, focus, better sleep, drop in body fat, build a muscle, the whole kit and caboodle. And you don't have to count. Now, granted, if someone wants to count, there's nothing wrong with counting. Again, if you can learn a system where you don't have to count, it turns into a series of subconscious behavior patterns that kind of happen all by themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what really sustainability has got to do with this. It's got to do with just understanding what your body's telling you, subconscious reactions, and not having to count calories and not having to count macros. Now, if somebody wants to do that, there's nothing wrong with it. But generally speaking, that's not a system that people are going to do for 3 decades.
Yeah. Said Marty.
I'm right there with you. I'm not big on counting either. I think it frustrates people, but I think what's more important is changing the habits. This person understands, hey, I need to consume protein after the workout. I need to eat some vegetables. I need to eat some healthy fats. I understand why they're important. Understand they can help your intensity in the gym. But behavior changes is most important because think about the behavior they currently have. They at the bar every weekend. That's the issue. It's not because you don't count your calories. That's why you got this body you don't like.
It's done for me though, boys. Johnny and Marty, I think you can appreciate this because I'm sure you've had clients come to you with this conversation or you've stepped back and go, oh yeah, good, it's worked for him. The counting macros has taught me the value of the density of food. For example, I know if I eat a chicken breast, it's given me 28 to 35 grams of protein. Boom, it's taught me that. I know that if I have a little handful of oats, it's going to give me about 30 grams of carbs. So I've taken time in my life to learn those things so that now when I sit down and have a couple of chicken breasts on my plate, I don't count them because I know that they're about 60 grams of protein. So that it's done for me is that it's created that awareness so that, because guys, I'll be honest, Johnny, I didn't like in my earlier trainers, they're just saying, Keith, eat this. It didn't work for me because in my head, I needed to know the number. And Johnny, it's the same, I'm getting to the same end destiny as you saying, Keith, eat 5 chicken breasts a day. But I'm like, yeah, but what's my number? Keith, eat 200 grams of protein. Oh, okay. 6 chicken breasts at 30 grams gets me to 180. You know what I mean, John? So I've needed to know my numbers for my own thought process, but now I don't track them because I know. Does that make sense, John?
Yeah. And here's the thing. The guy that just needs to know, I think, like you were saying, you were doing it because you were acquiring the information, which is great. Let's just say that you're supposed to eat X amount of meals that are X size, X time, and you get to one of those meals and you realize you're not hungry. Forcing that meal down is not going to help you. So again, with my system, I create guidelines for people. So they come into a time that they're supposed to feed. And I say feeding because it doesn't always have to be meals. It can be healthy snack foods. But ultimately, knowing what the body wants and understanding the signals of the body is what's going to keep you from leaving all this progress on the table. Following a straight up macro system based upon time and weight and that kind of thing is treating your body like a machine. It's not a machine. It's a creature. Every day will be different. And if you don't treat it that way, you are leaving massive progress on the table.
What an exceptional conversation with Keith, John, and Marty here. Mornings in the Lab, a segment we're calling the Protein Break. It drops at Eastern time every single day. Nutrition, food, topics to help guys get through your day. And we've got some great comments coming into the feed before we move to the personal brand bite with Kristina Flynn. Rick says, I need to focus on doing the next right thing constantly. Love this. Rick, we love that you're joining. And Rick, I see you joining the show daily. Brother, on behalf of myself, Marty, and John, we appreciate your time you're spending with us because I know you have many choices is. And the fact that you're spending with us in the morning makes us very happy. Thanks for joining us here as well. All right, guys, I'm going to bring Kristina up here. This is a new segment, and we are calling it the Personal Brand Bite. And I do not have music available for her yet. Sorry, Tina.
As long as you're not playing that terrible walk within the snow, we're okay.
I may have a pin that I could press here for our friend Tina. And Tina, I know you're itching to get back to the conversation about things that humans wish we would all know in the bedroom. So we're going to talk the brand bite, and then we're going to come back.
Keith, man.
Jimmy, help me. All right. The first brand bite with Kristina Flynn. We get a brand new segment because one of the things I want to tell you guys here in the Business Athlete Performance Lab, if you guys are starting out right now, you're waking up 38, 40, 45, 50 years old, and you're thinking, holy fuck, I'm lost. I am lost. You know what? We have somebody here in the lab. Her name's Kristina Flynn. She is a personal branding expert. She'll help you take it from 0 to 10, get you all sorted out, get your life all sorted out, get your digital profile sorted, get your personal brand sorted out. So we're going to lean into this topic for the next minute, and then we're going to build upon this. So we're going to start with Kristina Flynn with a tip for the brand bite